sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jar Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jar Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jar Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jar Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jar Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jar Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With EcoBank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as EcoBank mobile app, EcoBank Online, and EcoBank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the EcoBank mobile app. Open the EcoBank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via EcoBank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to EcoBank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any EcoBank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Today on Coffee Time, our focus is on healthcare provision in the Gambia and the opportunity to invest in one of the country's most promising health tech ventures. And joining me for this important conversation are two distinguished voices. First, Dr. Ismaila Badjie, pharmacist, entrepreneur, and founder of Innovarex Global Health. He has built a tech startup that already serves tens, if not hundreds of thousands of Gambians and is pushing for innovation and reform in our health system. Alongside him is a man who was here not so long ago, Amadou Chico, a Pan-African investor known for mobilizing diaspora capital into transformative projects across the continent, from agribusiness to education, and now healthcare. Well, together these two gentlemen, Dr. Badjie and Chico, bring the perspectives of the builder and the investor. one shaping healthcare delivery on the ground, the other connecting capital to innovation. Our conversation today is centered on how to strengthen healthcare provision in the Gambia and why investing in Innovarex could be a game changer for both patients and investors. Gentlemen, welcome. Chico, good to be here.
It's my pleasure.
You're almost becoming part of the furniture.
I think so. I need to have my own segment now.
Thank you for bringing Dr. Badjie. I've been chasing him for months. Yes.
He's been running too.
He's too busy.
Uncle, I'm never too busy for Uncle Peter.
He's too busy and too much in demand. Everybody wants to
It's true. It's true.
Dr. Badjie, good to have you back.
Thank you so much, Uncle Peter. It's a pleasure.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
For Gambians at home and abroad listening to us this morning, why should they care about investing in healthcare innovation? Let's start with you now.
I think every human being's relationship with healthcare begins from the day they're born. The act of delivery is everybody's healthcare experience. And then you start a journey. What you do in that journey determines how long your journey is. The people you love, how long you get to know who they are, depends on their healthcare journey. So it ties to everything. You're healthy first before you work.
Sure.
You're healthy first before you care, before you pray. It's the most foundational first principle of human beings. So it's a reflection of what you do, and it is what you get. And that means that people have to experience healthcare, people have to provide healthcare, but dignity has to be the cornerstone of healthcare. That's the reason why.
All right. So that's from a healthcare deliverer's point of view. What about an investor's point of view? Why should Gambians care about investing in healthcare delivery?
Well, if you look at the most vital sectors of society, you take an individual, every person has to eat. So it's very important to invest in food. Every person needs healthcare. So it's very important to invest in healthcare. But when you think of healthcare investment, there's different parts of healthcare. There's the healthcare provision. So let's say healthcare centers, hospitals, clinics. Then there's the pharmaceutical sector, where now you're talking of medicine. So there you have pharmacies, but you also have factories. You have people who formulate the products themselves. You have people who distribute the products. And then you have all the people who manufacture the equipment related to healthcare. So if you take the healthcare sector as itself, there are different segments of the healthcare sector to invest in. But for me, when I look at it, I also look at healthcare technology, healthcare education. Today you have private medical schools that people are investing in to be able to train the next generation of doctors. We saw during COVID that because there was such a need for PPEs, that people changed their entire business model from even doing agriculture to now start importing.
Exactly. Gloves.
Importing gloves,
making
right?
Masks.
Exactly, making masks, right? So it's just to tell you that it's a sector like the others that it's vital to everyone's need. And if you're an investor who's trying to get returns, you're looking at sectors where there's recurring revenue, right? Where people are spending money every single day, every single week, or every single month. And healthcare is one of them.
It's definitely one of them.
It's definitely one
You
of
only
them.
have to go to FSTH or Canifing General Hospital. And Dr. Badjie, what are the biggest gaps in health provision in the Gambia, and how is Innovarex addressing them?
So the last mile. Gambia has a reactive healthcare model. You only go when you're sick. Healthcare has evolved.
That's true.
Right? Our relationship with healthcare is only in the time of emergency. But if you look at healthcare right now, the earlier you go, the cheaper it is. The closer to home it is, the more accessible it is. That's the Innovarex model. If you realize healthcare now, let's say Gambia's population, if we say 2 million, about 30% of Gambian adults already have a chronic condition or about to have a chronic condition that requires lifetime care. So we realize that healthcare, private and public, should be salsa dancing all the time. The more preventative and continuous healthcare services they are, the lighter the burden is for the public sector that handles emergencies, accidents, and things of that nature. That's the use case. But also healthcare historically in Gambia, the closer you are to Westfield, the more privileged you are in terms of access. So there's a disparity, healthcare deserts, which is why our motto was like, no. If somebody's grandmother in Farafenye wants the same blood pressure medication as Donald Trump, they should be able to get the same blood pressure medication as Donald Trump. And I don't say that as even anecdotal, but actually the same pill. Innovarex was the first company to literally distribute the same pill of medication that somebody gets in Atlanta, Georgia, New York, to every village in the Gambia for the fraction of the cost, and not be able to do it once, but follow them on a lifetime companionship. That's always been the
So,
thesis.
for a fraction of the cost, so how do you defray, the cost of getting these medicines from the U.S.?
That's an excellent question. Our history of pharmaceutical importation was not local. It was consumed locally, but it wasn't local. The more Africans and Gambians start importing medications, there's an element of yeremande and dignity, because medications don't cost a lot of money.
They don't?
They don't.
Oh, really?
And quality medications, and this is proven, it's cheaper to buy the same blood pressure medication today in Gambia than it is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Because manufacturing of these pharmaceutical products has gotten at such a scale where it's low. The reality is you could have been buying something for 300% of the price, and you would not know. When our model is like, no, if you pool resources and you have, let's say, 10,000 Gambians that need the same blood pressure medication, you could put it at a price that may be less than $1 a day. So it's just that balance of fine-tuning your business model, realizing that we consume more medications than we need, but the right medications are accessible. And that's been the game plan since.
Fantastic. And Chico, why is diaspora investment critical for startups like Innovarex, and how do you mobilize it?
Well, let me say why I first am interested in this visionary entrepreneur here, is because I worked in building a healthcare venture for a corporate venture in Kenya. One of the largest banks wanted to build a health tech with one of the largest pharmaceutical buyers. So they asked me to build a company that would allow this system to operate in East Africa. And I started working on it. And I was fascinated by finding out, like he was saying, that when they group the buyers, like the hospitals, the clinics, the healthcare centers, and they go to negotiate prices for medicine, the prices go down. But then when it's imported, throughout the distribution, because the distribution is so fragmented, the prices then go back up, right? So by the time it gets to the consumer is buying at 300% the cost of what he was, it was imported for. Oh, wow. So I started looking at that system, and I saw, okay, in order to reduce the cost for the consumer, we needed to have the manufacturer involved. We needed to have the importer involved. We needed to have the technology platform that was in charge of connecting with the pharmacies. So you need to create an ecosystem. Now, in doing that, in building that ecosystem, I saw that this type of system, maybe governments were the ones who were able to build it, or large funds who invested in startups were able to do it. I got to learn on that. When I came to the Gambia, and I also fell sick at some point, trying to build this pineapple industry. I was burnt out. I had all sorts of things going wrong, right? To the point I even had to write a whole newsletter around. I was almost going to die in the Gambia. And my wife called him one night, in the middle of the night, and he took me to one of the hospitals. We spent the night there, and then the next day I went to Innovarex, and I got my exams, and then I figured out what was going wrong. And by then, I spent a week going to different hospitals, different labs, and everything. And I realized, if you don't have money in the Gambia, you will die. Like, you will die for things that you're not even supposed to die for, right? Yeah. And that also shocked me, and I started looking at his business model a little bit more, and I realized he had built in the Gambia that which we literally, the budget was $300 million to build for the whole of East Africa, right? I was like, okay, there's something here. Then I looked at the entrepreneur, he has a track record of having worked in this field himself in the past. And not only does he have the track record of the operator, he also can communicate the vision.
Yeah.
Because that's very important as an entrepreneur, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Because you have to bring people along.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the best formula for a business that is investable. You have an entrepreneur who has a vision, who is an operator who knows what he's building, but also who already has a proven working model in a country like the Gambia. Uncle Peter, I was in Kenya a few months ago, and I went with the same vision. I said, the Gambia that I've discovered, the world needs to know the opportunity, because I am not going to sit and just pass my life, say, okay, I came to the Gambia, I did something. I'm going to make the Gambia one of the best countries on this continent, right? But how do you achieve that? You have to allow and find the right people, then connect them with partners. I met with the former CEO of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, and I told him about Ismaila. And I called Ismaila the same day, just randomly called and said, you guys need to connect. We need to get this business in Kenya. Like, this is They had a call, they had a meeting separately. A few days later, and I didn't even tell him this, the guy called me all ecstatic. It's like, Chico.
That's the effect he has on anybody.
Exactly. It's like, Chico, we need this solution in Kenya now. You know?
I'm not surprised.
But that's to tell you, they're operating in one of the most innovative, one of the most advanced innovation ecosystems on the continent. Yet they recognize that a solution built here in the Gambia can solve a major healthcare problem there. To me, that's a no-brainer, right? The opportunity is there. It's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, because if you look at the population, even just the Gambia, right? If you just take the Gambia itself, and then you take West Africa, then you take Africa, then you take the globe, Innovarex has built here the elements that can be plugged into any single healthcare system on the continent and in the globe. That is very, very rare to find. So for me, when you find things like that, you don't sit back and say, oh, let's hope he wins. No, you help him win.
Manna doesn't fall from the sky anymore.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
And Ismaila, because he calls you Ismaila, I've learned now to call you Ismaila.
Please.
It was always Dr. Badjie.
Please.
How does Innovarex use technology to improve access, affordability, and quality of care?
Excellent question. So in any health system, there's three things that you always lose if you don't have technology. One is time. The other two is money. And the other three is information. It's the easiest way to describe. Time is if you have to go to 5 places to find a healthcare solution. Go to the doctor, he writes you a prescription to go to the lab. You go to the lab, come back to the doctor writes you a prescription to go to the pharmacy. You go to the pharmacy. Sometimes that could take a 2 to 3 day period.
It's like you were telling me.
Right?
A few weeks ago, I went to the hospital in Banjul.
Right?
And exactly what you described
That
was what I went through.
That is a fragmented health system. Our business model, that's 1 hour. All those 3 days, shrink it to 1 hour. How? Technology. Money. Especially this is where the diaspora comes in. Send $200 through a remittance. The $200 converts to whatever the Dalasi rate is. They go through the fragmented system, and when they come back, the diasporan still does not know what is wrong with my loved one and what is the solution. So money leakage everywhere. This person's price, and then information. Uncle Peter, we opened a few months before COVID in 2019, December. We have every single medical record of the over 200,000 Gambians we've served since then. We could access it within seconds. Even a COVID vaccination that we gave in August of 2020, anybody in Gambia who we vaccinated, I challenge you, come and ask for your COVID record. We'll give it to you within seconds.
Wow.
That is what technology has done for us. And now we're even moving past, because we're launching remote monitoring of people's blood sugar.
Oh, wow.
Where you could be here, you have a device on your arm. I am at Innovarex, our nutritionist, and your family member is in the diaspora, and they could see what this cup of coffee is doing to Chico's sugar in real time.
Oh, wow.
So we build a company on data and technology, but everybody should be evaluating your relationship with healthcare and assess how much time, information, and money is leaking out. And that's been the Innovarex honestly, our defensive mechanism. So we're not the most profitable company because there's healthcare companies that have made more money than Innovarex. But Innovarex also has been a love story for Gambia. And I always mention this. My grandmother is the reason why Innovarex has been worth me fighting for.
How?
Because my grandmother, Aja Fatim Menga of Banjul, Manwa Banjula, she's the first person I remember dying as a child because we had just moved back to Gambia. Later, I realized she was 56 years old, had diabetes and hypertension. That's what killed her. Fast forward to decades later, I'm a working professional in the United States and realized the abnormality of a 56-year-old dying from diabetes and hypertension when every day I was serving 80, 90-year-old American white citizens who had the same two conditions. So I built Innovarex by putting my grandmother's picture in the middle and built and almost reverse engineered what would mom needed. What would she have needed? She would have needed access to early care. Elderly, her knees were starting to be not so great. She needed health care to come to her door. She needed to make sure the medication she's taking religiously after Fajr is actually quality medication that's going to work. That's been the Innovarex story. Even throughout my challenges when I should have left. And I think this is important. From an investor perspective, the opportunity cost of building Innovarex in the Gambia does not make sense. It did not make sense since 2024 when I had the issue publicly. But every single time I saw my grandmother, I realized that I may not be able to bring her back, but every single day that Innovarex is alive in Gambia, somebody else's grandmother would live to be 70 years old. That's been the story. So it's been deeply personal, but also agile in a way that, yes, we could get to everywhere, and technology connects the world.
And Chico, just picking up on his point there that taking the Innovarex model, investing in that in the Gambia does not make sense.
No.
So what makes healthcare an attractive sector in the Gambia, would you say?
Again,
for investors?
For me, it always comes back to first, you either invest in the horse or you invest in the jockey, right? And then the third is, which arena?
The racetrack.
The racetrack.
So when the race is won,
Yeah.
who takes the credit? Is it the jockey or the horse?
The investor.
So Gambia is the racetrack.
Yeah, Gambia is one of the racetracks, right?
Yeah.
And I want to empathize with him, because in other environments, when you see a person like him doing what he's doing, and I've had the chance, I contributed to making Kenya the hub of innovation in Africa. And it was because in Guinea they thought I was crazy. So I had to go to a place where the crazy people, we were all crazy together for me to be accepted.
You know
right?
the saying, a prophet is never honored in their own
Exactly,
backyard.
right? And there I learned that when you see an innovator, you need to bring them into an incubator. And then from the incubator, you bring them into an accelerator. And then from the accelerator, they'll grow. That's what I want to do for him. Because the environment in which we are right now, it's not the fault of the Gambia. The Gambia is victim of its own history, right? Being stuck in between colonial powers like it did, it broke a lot of people that were not yet born, their ability to excel, yet we all have the same brain. Like I told you before, your radio should be CNN. Why? Because you have a higher acumen, a higher journalistic acumen than many of these major media houses out there. But you're operating in an environment where you have to prove yourself every single day. He should have been supported, not just by government, but by the wealthiest people in this country who would have seen his vision and said, you know what, we can help this company become a global company from the Gambia. He can't do it on his own. In other places, that's how it starts. They fund you $100,000, $300,000, $1 million. They bet on you. You go, you fail, you come back, they bet on you again because they say, this jockey, right, with this horse needs a good track. So if we don't have let's put him in a good track. Or let's build the track for him, right? So for me, I'm like, right now we see children, when they know how to play soccer, parents are now willing to invest in them because we've seen Yankuba Minte come and build a mansion for his parents. So we've seen it, right?
And before him, the Omar Colis and all
Exactly.
that,
But how many other good soccer players came out of the Gambia whose legs were broken pursuing their dream? No one helped them. Many. I don't want in my lifetime for my kids to have to go for somewhere else for them to succeed. They have to succeed where we are. And it starts by myself putting my energy. I have the networks, right? I know the right people. And I'm not the only one. We all know what we need to do. But if we wait for other people to come and do it, it's not going to happen. So for me, he has a business that if he already has 200,000 people in his database, and those 200,000 people can be able to get the health care that they need for the rest of their lives, that's a profitable business.
Absolutely.
That's a highly profitable business. But it's a technology business as well that he's built to the model of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the US, which means in Mandera, in the north of Kenya there, in the desert there, in the drought there, where the Somali origin people are there, and the Somali diaspora can pay the same platform to offer medicine to them, it can work. In Burundi, it can work. In Senegal, it can work. In South Africa, it can work. In Nepal, it can work. In Palestine, it can work. Why are we not trying to get it there? So that's my goal, right? I'm not going to come and say, good luck, my friend. I wish you succeed. No. It's like, my friend, we're going, right? Here's a door we can open. Here's an opportunity. And those also who can do greater things, when you see us here like this, and you say, well, I hope they succeed. The day will succeed. You won't have a return because you just hoped. But when you say, let's make it happen together, what happens? You become a part of the story.
No risk, no gain.
No risk, no gain.
But also, Uncle Peter, let me say something important. People always think investment is putting money into a business. And I'm saying that not for Innovrex because Gambia has a lot of companies that need investments from Gambia and in the diaspora. You could invest from a financial perspective to give capital because capital is the bloodline of every business. You could invest by being a customer of our local businesses. And even if we fall short, feedback is a gift. But also you could invest by human capital because every good business in Gambia is limited because we don't have the right talent. So I always qualify the types of investors, and every company needs all three to go because Gambia, healthcare is profitable. There's companies that have made millions and millions of dollars in the Gambia. But also every business dies when the founder is tired. Because we also are getting to a point where, and that's why I'll reconsider it based on the opportunity cost to the individual founder because it's not built out of desperation. 7 years in Gambia for a U.S. healthcare professional, that's over $1 million worth of salary that you've foregone. If you don't love it, you won't do it. If you're not from Gambia, you would not do it. Because I started Innovrex, as you know, with a non-Gambian. After 2 years, Gambia was not worth it for him. But if you look at the opportunity for healthcare, be it Innovrex, be it any new healthcare venture that is Gambian owned, people should invest capital-wise if they can. They should invest as our customers so that money could circulate in our country. And if their loved ones are looking to come home to work, choose a company like us to work because human capacity is a challenge.
Fantastic. And today we're talking healthcare delivery and investing in healthcare in the Gambia with Dr. Ismaila Badjie and Amadou Chico Sissoko. Dr. Badjie, you helped push for the, I have to read it off the screen, Medicines and Related Products Amendment Act. How do regulatory reforms shape the future of health tech startups like yours?
Yeah, it kills it. That's what could kill a business. Innovrex should have closed in 2024.
Why are you still here then?
Because of Aja Fatim Menga. And you know why, Peter?
No.
I was born in Perseverance. I'm a Banjulian, right? My name, you cannot mistake it for anything else. If I look at my sector, I could not find any Gambian who won over a generation. So if a system is designed to drown and kill the founder for the vision to die, the easiest thing I could have done is to relocate to the USA and continue. Certain things are worth fighting for, and I don't want to be martyred or lionized. But that was one fight that my shareholders and my investors did not like because it's bad for business. The regulatory system and the challenges, we see it as, he's fighting with a regulatory. What it means from a business like Innovrex that is young and not capitalized is 60% of our revenue was gone in 2024.
60%.
Right? At that time, we were close to hiring over 99 Gambians. Right? And we had patients that we had promised to serve all year round. So when we got close, we still woke up the next day and went to take people's medications when we had them, right? That is why. But the regulatory system, and I think Gambians need to understand that unless we have a regulatory system that is not captured, no business, no matter how brave you are, no matter how much money is pumped to it, it will squeeze you out because the chaos is the design. So if you realize that's why I actually haven't been here and on the media a lot. Instead of a founder focusing on how to improve customer experience, you spend 18 months of your time trying to lobby and fight for something that is really, if medication is quality enough for the United States, it should be quality enough for Gambia. That is the most simple thing that this act did. Meaning if something is approved for use and distribution in a place like Europe and in America, it can come into Gambia and be used. It wasn't an Innovrex bill. So now in Gambia, and I want to commend the National Assembly, the executive, all the way up to the president, because they heard that I wasn't lobbying to fight for Innovrex interests. The Medicines Act literally created an avenue where medical device products and medications that are good enough for them is now good enough for us, and it shouldn't be a difficulty coming in. So yes, it's a milestone because even if Innovrex died, hopefully that will stay. But as a business, from a financial perspective, we are recovering from 2024, and it's going to take a very long time. So that's the opportunity. It's not perfect. Our regulatory system is not perfect. I think there's an element of regulatory capture. That is not my job to revisit. But I just know we need to always understand the impact of the business. But also I'm grateful that I have entrepreneurs like Uncle Tafs of the world, like Mohammed Jas of the world, like Uncle Idimas Job, that when it got difficult, those are the people who are also Gambian who will call you and say, you know what, stay the course, because you and Innovrex are needed, because Innovrex means more than just a place that you could go to get healthcare.
Okay. So what lessons from Innovrex's journey can inspire other Gambian entrepreneurs in healthcare?
See the opportunity. Gambia is one of the youngest countries in the world. Every single person right now should understand that healthcare opportunity, Gambia could be the healthiest country in Africa in 10 years. It's proven. But also right now, about 30% of Gambian adults are either borderline or already hypertensive or diabetic. Those are the people that are going to end up getting kidney transplants if they're not taken care of. Those are the people that are going to end up needing cardiac. So there's a big need, and a lot of Gambians haven't even started their healthcare journey. So you have to see it as an opportunity. 30% of the population could be a customer for 30 years. Africa's population is 1.5 billion, so meaning there's 300 million. So start now. Diagnostics, healthcare service delivery, specialty services, and I'm so proud of Jama Specialty Hospital that just opened, formed by Gambians. Oh, very good. That should have been the biggest news this year, because in our lifetime, it's never happened.
I'm just hearing about them. Shame
yes.
on me, eh?
Four of the best consultants we have came together for one vision to start a super specialty hospital. The two Dr. Jaites, Dr. Keba Marena, Dr. Jabang, the neurosurgeon, and now they have a super specialty hospital. Any other country, as a society, we will say, now we have a super specialty hospital, and we invest as their customers through finance and through human capacity.
We'll bring them to the radio.
Right? So please do. And I want to commend them, because Gambians, we need to start building together.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Same question to you, Chico. What lessons from Innovrex's journey can inspire other Gambian investors in healthcare?
So I also want to commend AQA.
Of course.
I think AQA Labs is one of the success stories.
And Tendaco.
Tendaco.
And Farato.
So we have quite
We know them.
These are young Gambian, less than 45 years old, who have taken upon themselves to solve problems that they've seen and experienced themselves at a world-class level, right? And I am inspired by these guys. One thing that Doc Ismail Badjie has not shared.
Exactly. You have to emphasize
the
Badjie, because there's a Doc and Ismail.
Yes.
Totally different from this Doc Ismail.
There's actually three, right? There's another Dr. Ismail Badjie as well.
People always can say Dr. Ismaila Cisse, but I tell them I was named after Ismaila Cisse, former GPTC managing director. That's my namesake.
Okay. So all young, leaders, right?
Yeah.
All three doctors are, doing amazing in their own way. So one thing he hasn't spoken about is the recovery from that experience.
2024.
Yes. And I think that's very important for us to really look at. As leaders, visionaries, we will all go through that desert. All of us. There's going to be a season of our lives where you'll be tested and stretched. You've been through it publicly. I've been through it publicly. He's been through it publicly. And oftentimes, our psyche, when we face trauma, is to hide or to fight, right? And then we fight so hard, or we build in that space for so long that we become accommodated to that environment, and we don't see how much we've grown. Today, he signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Global.
Doing HIV work.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They've installed mini health centers across the Gambia. His team has grown. His technology has improved. His resilience as an entrepreneur has scaled. He's a better person today than he was when he was entering this crisis. He's a wiser person today than he was when he was entering. The business is more solid today than it was when he was entering the crisis. But still, he's human, because he himself cannot acknowledge that, right? That's the aspect that I think we underestimate often. And that's what's the role of a partner, of a coach, of an investor, is that you see what they don't see, and you don't wait for them to ask, and you offer it to them. This company, of my living, I'm committed. And not just this company, this country, because that's why they say often, leaders are different. For me, I'm like Muhammad Ali, right? I'll tell you, I am the greatest. Put me in the ring, and I'll knock them out. Because I know where I fight, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a space I understand very well, which is business development. We have an opportunity in this entrepreneur to build a global story, a global success story. And why I appreciate Gambian leaders like yourself is you don't hoard opportunity. Before, to get a radio interview like this, it's like you have to go through, even those who work here, we know, isn't it? But why do they do that gatekeeping? It's because they want to pick and select the people they want to excel. As long as we do that, the best will never rise up, because they may not have the opportunity to meet, isn't it? For me, the solution is we need to support them. We need to encourage them. We need to subscribe to their services. We need to fund their growth.
Okay.
Just like the others have done for their descendants. The British did it for theirs. The Spanish did it for theirs. The Americans did it for theirs. We as Africans need to do for ours.
Okay. All right. So until now, it's been opportunity.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the other thing, the risks.
Yeah.
What risks do investors need to be mindful of in health tech, and how to mitigate against them?
Yeah, the number one risk in my business is always regulatory risk, because I've lived it. There's investors that came in early that their experience, Gambia has left a sour taste in their mouth. Those people may not only never invest in me again, they'll never invest in Gambia.
True.
Because they could know you could invest millions of hard-earned money, and every single day, the environment could come and take it all away. So if they evaluate me as a CEO, they'll give me a D grade. We gave you money, regulatory problem, you lost 60% of the revenue, now we've lost our investment, especially if I close. So you have to understand why you're investing in healthcare or in the business, but for how long you want to stay for the opportunity. If you are an investor looking for a quick return, Innovrix is not for you. That's one of the lessons I learned. I wouldn't take certain, not all money is good money. There's certain investors that they're not ideal for this business because they want a fast turnaround. But if somebody sees Africa in 2050 and Innovrix being $1 billion company that you started in Gambia that you are a part of, then yes, absolutely. But the risk number one is regulatory risk. And that's always where I ask. We need to be honest about the regulatory risk that comes along with it. The number two is key man risk, Uncle Peter. Innovrix's one of the biggest risks is a key man risk. If I die, the company dies.
Live long.
Right? And I mentioned that because businesses die because the founder is either tired or their life circumstance, either family dynamic gets in the way. So which is why the company needs to be in a place where it runs independent of me and not dependent of me, because right now I cannot leave Gambia for more than even 3 weeks without the business leaving with me.
Oh.
And most founders are going through that. So I'm honest with investors. The money you invest, I'm going to find talent. And if I have to go and find talent from the region to bring it here, to make it operate well, to ensure my customer experience matches what's on the paper, I will do it. Regulatory risk, key man risk, but also human capital risk as well, because you have to build the ecosystem. And then you have all the things like supply chain, right? So we lay the risk out, but I tell you, the biggest risk taker in this enterprise has been me. Most investors haven't lost what I have lost for this entity. And I am more committed today to this than I was 10 years ago when I started this company as well. But those are the risks. But we mitigate it. For each one, you mitigate it. You keep paying attention to it. And you find a way of learning from the mistakes of, growing. Because I tell people I didn't have experience as a CEO. I had experience in communication. I was an operator. I ran a $16 million a year business in the USA. But systems work there. Every single playbook that you had in the USA, it doesn't work in Gambia. Because Gambia has all the problems of Africa and a small market. So no matter how experienced, talented you are coming from the diaspora, understand that you would have to learn how things are done on the continent and be agile and resistant enough to navigate through the storms. But for every risk now, I think I'm wiser, the company is steadier, but also we're going to fight for this market.
Keep fighting. We have a few minutes left. So one question to both of you. How do you, or how can you, health investor and, health provider and innovators work together to balance social impact with financial stability?
So I'll start, and then you'll finish. I think that it is our role of those who believe in a vision like this to help in mitigating those risks, right? I've seen him grow and build stronger systems outside of this regulatory crisis. I've seen him get involved in building regulation, which he was not involved in before, right? So now he knows how regulation is drafted, where it is made. That is better to invest in an entrepreneur like that than someone who's not sitting at that table. I see the scalability of the model. We're going to get it into Kenya this year. We're going to get one element of Innovrix into Kenya this year,
Very good.
without a doubt. And that's where I see the opportunity. Gambia is not the country where you come to build the multi-SpaceX, the bigger thing, because then you're not solving the real problem. But when you build something like Innovarex, where you have the diagnostics, you have the pharmaceutical side of medicine provision, you have the last mile service delivery, all you need is to be capitalized to sustain that and then increase your customer base. And that's what he's done. Because now this company can not only import medicines, it can find out what the patient is suffering from, provide them that medicine and the care at the last mile across the country. So every single element has been built. Why people often say, that's too much work. No, that's the work that separates you from others. And from an investment side, that's also what you look at. There are different groups of investors. There are people who they're looking at, they just want social impact, like you said. That social impact is already visible because of the people whose health has been improved and is being improved, communities that are being transformed, the number of people who would have died and that now are being saved. So that's one. But from a financial side as well, this is just basic math, right? You have products that you import at a particular price, and then you have products that you sell at a particular price, and you make a margin. So you have the economic model, you have the social model all in one, and you have a visionary entrepreneur. To me, that's the formula for success. And that's why I believe we need to play our part in telling this story so that those who want to subscribe to the service can subscribe, and those who feel like they have something to offer as well. They say, you know what, let me talk to Ismaila. I think I could, help him a little bit more. And that's how it succeeds.
Sure. Well, we hope that he'll get, so many calls when he leaves this place. Maybe you want to drop your
yes
a phone number.
Yeah, and mine will be short in terms of social impact. I consider myself a conscious capitalist because I'm not shameful about wanting to build wealth. And I think as Africans on this continent in Gambia, we should build companies that last multiple generations. Innovarex was founded with a social DNA. Because if you observe even Gambia social media, I consider there's a pre-Innovarex version and a post-Innovarex version. Post-Innovarex came across Gambia, free screenings for diabetes and hypertension. Last mile delivery, we're still the only company private that would deliver medications all over Gambia for less than $3 a day. Even in the USA, what we offer right now is so we've proven, and in terms of communications, Uncle Peter, even my Wolof is better. What Innovarex has done to change the landscape of healthcare education, right? It's proven. Most people even know us for, and that is work. People pay for health communication. Sure. I want to move to an era where it's profit making, sustainability, building a company with good financial systems, giving investors return on their investment, because we're not a non-profit. And Gambia has a way of making a for-profit business turn into a non-profit because Innovarex has not made any profit. And as a founder as well, too, I have a fiduciary duty to investors and shareholders and myself to not keep making zero income for the love of nation, but the same nation that I live in, people are making millions of dollars, and just the dollars leave as soon as the end of the month. True. So I'm very intentional about where I am. I don't have to convince people about my relationship with Gambia, what Innovarex does to serve people. We've tested 10% of the adult population already. Now let's build it where Innovarex could outlive me, and I could transition in 10 years, in 5 years, but the same quality of service delivery is better because we also need to pride ourselves. If I ask for your money as an investor or as a customer, I need to make sure what I build delivers the experience that it's supposed to do, because if not, it's not a good social contract as well.
Fantastic. Would you like to drop a phone number? I'm sure they'll be...
So Chico will obviously will share information in terms of how to find out about, if you email invest@innovrexglobal.com, there's information there. It's not for everybody, but Chico will kind of screen individuals that we're looking for, but also we're exploring new markets, as he mentioned. Places like Liberia is on the table, Sierra Leone, Kenya.
Oh, wow.
So, because it's time, Uncle Peter. It's time for us to take a model that is incubated and take it where places may be a little bit ready without mortgaging away our true sense of pride of it being a Gambian story, and myself always carrying the flag of Gambia wherever I go. But investors like big markets, so we got to chase after big markets.
Keep the flag flying.
Yes. Always.
Yes. All right. Dr. Badjie and my good friend here, Chico, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Peter.
Yëpp lay fay. Sant yàlla. looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jar Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jar Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jar Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jar Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jar Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jar Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With EcoBank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as EcoBank mobile app, EcoBank Online, and EcoBank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the EcoBank mobile app. Open the EcoBank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via EcoBank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to EcoBank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any EcoBank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.